My generation often suffers from a lack of community engagement, resulting in a disconnect between our voices and our communities. As students, it's easy to feel that our voices don't hold as much weight as other voices do, but today I want to show you how Virginia Beach is working to change that. Hi, my name is Sadie Mixer, and I'm a senior at Kellam High School in the Environmental Studies program. Throughout my entire school career, I have always prioritized extracurricular activities. Many of them were connected to my school, such as honor societies, clubs, or sports. But my junior year, I was given the opportunity to apply for a student member position on a city council appointed committee. I immediately knew that this would be different than my other extracurricular activities, especially when I sat down at my first meeting with a name placard in front of me, surrounded at a table by 12 working professionals. I was the first student member of the Transition Area Interfacility Traffic Area Citizens Advisory Committee. Through my work on this committee, I met some other incredible student leaders who all had the same passion for making our city a better place.
I wanted to join the Flood Board because I really hadn't had any experience or knowledge of how city government functioned on the day-to-day. And so I really wanted to gain experience and firsthand knowledge of how an average citizen like me could go and have an impact on something at the citywide scale.
I came at a good time where the Bayfront Advisory restructured their subcommittees, and so we created a student subcommittee. That way we could have a bit of a legacy piece on the committee and really ensure that student voice was maintained throughout the commission. And so on our first project on the student subcommittee is actually to create a love sign that's going to go on right off of Shore Drive. And so our design was incredibly student designed, and it's going to be able to kind of reflect a lot of different aspects of the Shore Drive community and kind of create one culminating piece that will be a great thing for tourism, also highlight local businesses, and ultimately just kind of showcase what we love about the area.
And additionally, right now I'm working on making an interactive ArcGIS map for City Council and for the committee to use regarding different trails and the existing and proposed trails within the city, so we can see the best ways to connect our city through trails and active transportation.
There are over 30 student member positions on these advisory committees, but this has not always been the case. To get to where we are today, it took careful planning and consideration.
Our first student was placed on the Public Library Board back in 1992, and in a couple years after that, there were a total of 4 such positions. In 2020, City Council adopted a resolution that encouraged all boards and commissions to look for youth opportunities. City Council identified a large number of these positions that the committees themselves wanted to host students on. This would create an opportunity to students to learn as well as to express their voice in governance. As these different committees came forward, City Council was ready for them, and a formula was adopted with a few basic questions about how long their term would be, when would they serve, and so on, and the model developed. After a few of these, it became very easy, and now we have more than 30 such positions.
I am so excited that the City of Virginia Beach has taken the lead on having students as commissioners. For one thing, it really addresses the brain drain. We want student voice to help shape our community, so it's a community they come back to after they go to college or after they start their careers. We want this to be a city for the future. I think about the comprehensive plan and the 2040 comprehensive plan. Who's going to benefit most from it? It's this generation. And I think having that voice now helps ensure that this is going to be a community for the future.
Really, at the end of the day, it's about student empowerment, but also we're working really hard to create an opportunity for students in the environmental studies program to get their voice heard and to find authentic ways to redefine what a classroom looks like, to get out in the community and advocate for change as they want it. And to support that, we needed to find spaces that are these alternative learning spaces for them to be, that are authentic and real. And what a better way than to have their voice heard connected to local policy.
Imagine being a 70-year-old farmer who was appointed to one of these committees because of years and years of hard work and experience that honed your expertise. And then imagine looking beside you and seeing a 17-year-old student sitting there who has no job experience. I will admit, at times my lack of experience and knowledge can be a hindrance, but my curiosity, creativity, and youthful perspective all bring value to my committee. Through this experience, I get to represent over 60,000 student voices on a committee that City Council looks to for advice.
A young voice is always an important voice and is often overlooked. It's really critical to have our city hear from the next generation of leaders what their vision is for moving forward, and to also help coach the next generation of leaders on best practices for having change take place in a city.
As a student, I'd say I really understand the importance of reliance on these trail networks. While I do have a driver's license, I'm still very much reliant on using my parents' vehicles. And unlike a lot of other, more independent adults on the city commissions and advisory boards, I understand the need and the necessity, really, for people my age of local trails and having access to safe, reliable, active transportation to get where they need to go.
I also see an opportunity for students to bring interesting perspectives that weren't otherwise there. I'll never forget last year when a student who served on both the Historic Preservation Commission and the Green Ribbon Committee made the realization that some of the measures to help protect properties would actually take away their historic preservation status. And so there was this conundrum: do you help make these buildings more resilient to rising sea level, but also take away their historic landmark status? So these kinds of realizations that students were making in real time, I think benefited both commissions.
More than 20% of Virginia Beach's population is under the age of 18, and otherwise they really don't have a direct voice into local governance. Yes, they can speak at public hearings, but that's occasional and issue-driven. In terms of ongoing decision-making, these positions afford them a voice. And honestly, it's great for our city because the advice given to City Council is far more diverse, far more informed, and gives City Council much more to work with as they weigh difficult decisions. I'm really proud of this program, not because it's mine, but because of the students and what they've been able to accomplish and how it really has changed the dynamic with decisions that City Council makes.
Serving on the ITATA Citizens Advisory Committee gives me the opportunity to have an equal voice to those of working professionals. It gives me the opportunity to learn more about our city and make an impact in my community.
If you think about the 65,000 students across the school division, it's almost like a little city within a city, and having student voice that they can take back to their home schools and help make a difference elevates the work of our commission beyond helping to inform City Council.
It's also important for youth to participate because this is an opportunity for you to get a leg up in your personal development. You have an opportunity to sit side by side with adults, to interact with career professionals in an area that may be of interest to you later on. It also is an opportunity for you to influence the decisions made in your hometown. And that's not something that people living everywhere in America have an opportunity to do, certainly not on an ongoing basis.
I think one of the most exciting things about students serving on these commissions is they're interacting with career fields that are really diverse, whether it's architects or engineers or people that are real estate developers. They're meeting people that go beyond your typical classroom experience. If you think about it, I'm a teacher, so I don't mean to make this sound like I'm denigrating teachers, but most students in a typical day spend their entire day being exposed to one career, which is teaching. And these opportunities are real-world experiences that help them make decisions about future paths.
I think the best part of all this is that historic notion of classroom is being busted up a little bit, and that we're actually having this flexible seating where students are spending time in this real world space that is serving as their classroom, and it's more community connected and authentic, and not keeping students tucked away in a closet, but getting them directly, firmly standing with community officials to make real positive change and to ensure that they're energized and have a vision for what this city should look like.
It isn't just another extracurricular activity on my resume. It's an experience that has taught me skills that I will use for the next 4 years in college and throughout my entire life.
It's given me the confidence to continue having my voice heard in the future and to continue speaking up about things even in rooms where I know nobody, and really making sure that if I have a question or if I have an idea, making sure that I'm comfortable and confident enough to bring it up in that scenario.
On behalf of all students who serve on these committees, thank you, Virginia Beach, for allowing student voices to be heard in local government, and thank you to all the incredible community leaders who helped make this happen. I sincerely hope that the rest of the world will see these examples of student empowerment in Virginia Beach and be inspired to invoke change in their communities. And to those who are watching, how will you challenge yourself to change your community for the better?
So yes, I actually do have something else that you didn't ask me, and it's really in the form of a question. I would like to ask you a question about your senior project and your experience on one of these boards and commissions. So you want to trade places for a minute?
Sure.
All right. So here's my question for you, Sadie. You were on one of these boards and commissions this year. Can you tell us a little bit about why you felt that was a valuable way to augment your high school experience?
I think that a lot of what we do in high school is within the four walls of a classroom, and as much as all of the information that you learn in the four walls of a classroom is valuable, it's different when you apply all those skills that you've learned in the classroom to something out in your community where you know that you're going to make a difference. So for me, serving on my committee, the ITATA CAC, it gave me a chance to apply everything that I have learned in the four walls of a classroom in high school and middle school and elementary school in an actual place where I am able to make a difference and make a difference locally in my city where I can see it.
Thank you so much, making all of us proud.